Hey guys, I'm back, and even though it took me longer than it did to capture a Chefro, I finally managed to capture all the folks in Warcadia. So, I'm gonna get out of here, celebrate with a nice return to the real world, and of course, whatever quests the people of the real world may have to offer me. Don't think I've actually left through this portal quite yet, but it lets me out exactly where you saw the portal appear in the cutscene, and I think this time it was a little easier to tell where it was than it was in the first chapter. I don't know, did it even show Ellen's portal in the first chapter? No, I can't remember. Anyway, as usual, the spot to go to is the Bridge House for all your questing needs. All sorts of bonus rewards that you can't get just by running through the chapters. And our daytime quests, there are a grand total of 0. Both normal game quests and DLC. They offer nothing. They'll be there eventually. There is one story quest at night. You can always count on Gank Hunter to deliver, and the reward for this one is the cloak for Chapter 2. Finally, after it's not going to do a whole lot of good. So you guys like escort quests, right? Well, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. I'm the one who's going to play it. It's kind of interesting. I think this is the first time in the game that we've ever seen a folk as anything other than a generic enemy to fight. And fortunately, this room doesn't have a degasser in the quest, it's just a whole bunch of soldiers. Which is perfectly fine. I've got a couple of folks that I need to build up. This is not the way to do it. You don't use Warthog until you're actually going to defeat something with it, because it's terrible. And Bullseye, of course, will just sit there and never do anything. He doesn't fight for himself, he doesn't shoot anything. He just sits there taking damage if you let anything get too close. Not a whole lot of damage, fortunately. I mean, he's got a health bar in the lower left, but you can pretty much ignore that. It will never come into play. You just have to clear out every folk in each room that you pass through, and you can probably figure out that the reason there's shortcuts in this chapter at all is because they don't work in this quest. I do need to capture a couple more bullseyes, so any opportunity I get to do that is a good thing, but when else am I ever going to use Warthog? If I'm fighting just one folk, it's usually probably going to be a good idea to get a kill with Warthog. This is what passes for variety in quest videos. With the quest itself, you've pretty much seen it all. There was a new collection of folks in that first room, and I guess technically speaking there's new collections of folks in these rooms too. But they're just the same folks we fought in the first half of the chapter. Gonna take one more look at all the folks I've got to build up here, see what I need to do. I guess defeating Ten Hawk with ambush, I probably ought to get started on that here. And other than that, not a whole lot I can do. Interestingly, you do get to see the difference between the red and green spirit barriers here. You can see a green one across the way, which means once I've defeated all the folks in the room, it'll come down. The red ones are going to stay up for the duration, like the one that would have led me straight to the beginning of the chapter. That's not where they are. Quit putting your mine over there, Ambush. Just gonna kill a bunch of these guys. Ambush is so weak at the moment. I'm pretty sure he gets a lot stronger if I actually build up his karmas. But it takes some concentration to figure out when to throw out an ambush and when to keep hitting them with a folk that's worth something. And also to avoid crossing the room boundary. Kinda sucks that so many of the folks can freely pass that boundary and stay in the room. As soon as I go across, I'm elsewhere. You notice I'm not even paying attention to the bullseye I'm supposed to be escorting, and he still hasn't lost a whole lot of health. You know, just kinda carry on following me. That goofy expression on his face. Watching me fight all these guys. Holding a gun. Sometimes vaguely pointing it in the direction of things just by coincidence. Escort quests became a lot more fun with, say, the advent of Dead Rising. Escorts that would actually do things. Attack people. The last barrager that I need. And it reduces MC consumption. Doesn't increase attack, which is what barrager needs. Coming? You gonna move? Fortunately, there's no friendly fire, but the only thing he does is follow me, and he can't even do that right. Fortunately, when I leave the room, he does just kind of warp to where I am. And now I'm back at the start on the far side of the shortcut. Only one more room to go. And as well as I'm doing here, despite not even trying to keep my bullseye alive, I've got the space to do fancy stuff, like try to kill some of these guys with Warthog. Not really worth it. It's gonna be boring. Keep using ambush on the Hawks, though. I think you have to. Have I not got enough bullseyes yet? Alright, take this one down the hard way. Oh, yellow dust. I think maybe I was hopeful it was green dust. It's always yellow dust. Green dust to be good for something. I actually need a whole bunch of those to build up Quasarilli. I'm not going to get them. Warthog doesn't even fly that far. And a bunch more Hawks. More kills for ambush. And that was this quest. This is why ambush is terrible. Because he just kind of sits there. It's a hugely time-delayed attack that either you have to be right next to the enemy, or you have to lure them into a particular space. It's basically a trap destroy element attack. The only trap attacks I've got right now other than that are Impet and Brownie. And you've seen how well those work. I didn't try to keep the bullseye alive and he's still got half his health left. In other words, gimme quest. And it kind of has to be, because this is important. Like I said in the actual video, you want to have this cloak at the midpoint of the chapter. It makes fighting Gargantua almost a tiny bit less of a pain. And that's it. That's really all I've got for the video. So, why not go with the one DLC quest that's available to me at the moment? Yep, they still haven't opened any new ones. It's just the same one I've already done. I'm pretty sure some of these depend on having done some as Keats. Like, there are some that span chapters, and there are some that span between the two characters. Eventually, I'll probably be able to do all of them. And for the moment, let's go ahead and try out the new cloak, because the one I'm wearing isn't going to do me a whole lot of good. Neither is this one. Resists, destroy, and slash, and there's only one enemy that I fight in this quest that has either of those elements. And when I fight it, I'm going to be going back to the fairy cloak, because Bond is a significantly bigger threat. But since neither cloak is going to help me against the first couple batches of folks, why not go with this one? It actually looks more like it belongs here in the forest, too. You know, nice green and brown colors to camouflage against the trees, as opposed to bright freaking pink with wings. Anyway, having ranked up both myself and my folks, not that I'm using most of them at this point, but Puka's stronger than it was last time I was here. My capturing ability is still terrible. I have no idea what I'm doing. And we're pretty much done here. I used 2/3 of my time for this round. You can see what improvement a little bit of practice and a little bit of leveling up can do. And this time around, I've got to defeat a bunch of Kilmulas. Quasar really needs to defeat a bunch of Kilmulas. Seems like a perfect match to me. I really don't know what I was thinking there. I mean, I put Hawk in there as a long-range attack, just as an alternative to Daru. I'm not actually going to use Hawk. I'm going to throw Quasar out there first thing. That really doesn't help me all that much. And the problem is, once I do get a Kilmulas that's in the red, and I gotta wait until I'm ready to summon Quasar again. And I really didn't intend to capture that Kilmulas. I jerked up on the controller right away so I wouldn't have it in my radius. But that's quests for you. Sometimes things go right, and sometimes folks just get captured when you don't want them to. Kind of a contrast to the previous room where I spent who knows how long trying to capture Kilmulas and utterly failing. And of course I do kinda have to watch the time, but I really don't think there's a whole lot of threat. Yeah, almost half the time. I mean, I think I got this thing in the bag, frankly. But now that I'm up against inputs, time to switch back to pink and wings. It's kind of nice to actually let you change cloaks in the middle of the quest. I'm trying to think. I guess maybe there is one cloak that might help a little bit in the first 2 rounds. But we're fighting Ogma, so I'll pull out Impet, and since we're fighting Impets, I'm gonna go with something aerial. Unfortunately, Gargantua is a bit tougher to aim than I kind of gave it credit for. So I think when it comes time to deal with the Impets again, I'll switch back to Henki. Till then, let's just take out all the enemies that I can reach. Not that I can aim, but I can at least reach them. I probably should have gone ahead and stuck with Gargantua. At least Gargantua doesn't actually need to hit them quite. Its explosion has a much bigger radius than it looks like. You don't have to, say, hit them in the air and knock them out of it. If it lands somewhere in the relative vicinity of where the impet is, it'll do damage. I just didn't see the damage the first time, but there you can see I hit that one with one bubble and it died. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I hit with Gargantua before. So that's everything except the Ogmas. Now I suddenly lose all sense of judgment. I got an impet way back there doing absolutely nothing for me. And half a minute to kill the last one. More than I had last time, I think. But again, can I lure him into the trap? Absolutely not. I should just stop trying. That trick never works. But I got enough health I can afford to just trade attacks with him. Time-wise, maybe I can't afford that. But I finished with a whole 5 seconds left. Yeah, who knows, I may be able to beat this thing around chapter 11. There aren't 11 chapters. Okay, the final round, the one that defeated me before, and this time I have the right cloak. So at the very least, I'm not going to be trapped in sticky goo for the entire round. And I'm going to go for Gargantua again, because it's fun. Because at least if something blocks Gargantua's attack, unlike Hanky's, it's not going to just be completely useless. I want to capture that guy, but I have a hard time getting Ellen to turn around. The real problem with this round is I have no idea how to prioritize my attacks. I honestly don't know whether I should be concentrating on taking down the impets, concentrating on the guys on the ground, firing Gargantua in completely random directions that do nothing. And I guess it hit that one impet. That impet's the enemy I'm not going to be killing by the end of the round. Spoiler. If I can take out the Boobry, I'll be in much better shape, but no, I'm gonna toss an impet out there to drip goo on another impet. I'm gonna think I need to capture something, and then no, it just sort of falls down and dies. I end up wasting a lot of time in this round doing stuff I don't need to do. But now the Boobry is the only thing attacking me. So with that down, once again I've got 30 seconds to take out an Ogma and the impet over on the other side of the room. I know I'm not going to be able to manage both of them, so I'll go for the target of opportunity. And again, spend all my time trying to summon an impet that never works. Can I do it in time? Indeed I can, but with that one impet out there, the only thing I get is the moral victory. And 6 pulse tree nuts. Well, at the very least, that is enough to unlock one final karma for this video. And with Bullseye stronger than ever, that's about all I'm going to be able to do. I'll save the rest for the grinding video. And of course, I still don't know whether I'm going to have Red Rover back, or maybe an expert on military technology. or both. Stick around, and I hope you enjoy whoever joins me for the next video.